everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Igor Volodkin. I'm a fine arts teacher. I teach drawing and painting. I am a practicing artist as well. My paintings are exhibited in a number of different art galleries. Today I'm going to talk about the correct way to hold a pencil while drawing. The most important point to cover in this lesson is why an artist should hold a pencil exactly that way. Well, first I'm going to talk about the correct way to sharpen a pencil. Let me draw a diagram here. A sharpened pencil rod must have an angle of about 15-20 degrees. The length of the pencil rod should make 1 to 3 of the size of the tip cone of the pencil, which is cut off with a knife. These proportions must be observed, for we could speak quietly with our pencil. For we could draw very faint lines. At the same time, such rod sharpening will still allow us to get a full range of capacities of our pencil. If a pencil rod is sharpened differently, then we'll merely break it when we press our pencil hard against the sheet of paper. So incorrect rod sharpening will allow us to draw by touching our sheet of paper, but we'll fail to draw there are really thick and precise lines. We'll fail to press hard on our pencil. Let me wipe off my diagram. There are two classical methods to hold a pencil correctly. The first method is very similar to the way we usually hold a pen while writing. But still there exists one little distinctive feature. When we hold our pencil, it should be, I'll paraphrase it, we should be able to press our thumb against the pencil. I can easily lift my index finger from the pencil, as you see. And I can just keep on drawing. My thumb is lying on the pencil. Okay, that's the first method. The second method is to grip a pencil inside the palm. Actually, we grip it with these 3 fingers, so that our middle finger is just catching up with them. In other words, our middle finger pushes the pencil mildly inside the palm. This method turns our pencil into a sort of a continuation of our hand. In this case, the thumb is also merely lying on the pencil. So when we need to draw a line, we just press with our thumb on the pencil. I can lift my index finger up, take it away from the pencil, and anyway, I'll manage to keep drawing. This is a very important point. It's incorrect to hold a pencil like this. I don't recommend you to do that. I don't recommend you to hold it this way either. There exists a special device, a pencil extender, but in my opinion, it's a bit inconvenient to work with it. It's much more convenient when your pencil has a definite length that makes it convenient for you to draw with it. Let me move to the next point that matters. Let the opposite edge of our pencil extend 5 or 7 centimeters beyond the edge of our palm. This is the correct position of a pencil if we use gripping it inside the palm. This is also the correct method of holding a pencil when we hold it like a pen. Holding your pencil like a pen. And do the following exercise. Try to spin your pencil. When you're spinning it, just make sure that the second hold point remains right here. Now the most important thing to talk about. Why do we draw exactly like this? We get used to writing this way as kids. We actually write with our index finger. We always use our thumb for drawing, but we just use our index finger only for shading. So look, there's a concept of a focused sight and of a defocused sight. It's the way how our brain works. When we're using our index finger to draw an image, actually our brain is working logically at that very moment, and it is managing our accuracy in drawing. Through this, we get our neural area activated that is responsible for our focused sight. Schematically, it's going to look like this. Look here. Let me draw a man here. It's the view from above. Here are his shoulders, his legs. I'll depict his shoelaces here too. And let it be his hair. The man is viewing the space around him, and the space is divided into 2 zones. The first zone stretches out for about 35 degrees of the whole space, and it refers to his focused sight. It is that very sight that is responsible for the man's specific perception of any definite object around him. The second zone is called a peripheral sight. Therefore, the audience is... What I mean is that a painter should also pay attention to what his audience will get into their peripheral sight. If you ask anyone whether they can see anything in the peripheral zone, they will reply that they do. But sadly to say, an artist should not just see everything that is placed in the peripheral zone, but he should compare all the objects between themselves by their tone, color, direction. Well, when we draw with our index finger, we actually activate our neural area that is responsible for our ability to logically read all visual information. When we draw with our thumb and start this process from our shoulder, then we activate that very brain area, our neural area, that is responsible for our defocused sight, or in other words, for our broad vision. Artists call this type of vision a generalized vision. This type of vision allows us to make the correct comparison of the space within our peripheral sight to the accuracy of logical depicting of the definite small details on the paper format. Naturally, you can draw whatever you want to and anyhow you want to, but the main question is whether the picture you've depicted will look convincing to the audience. The process of drawing should start from your shoulder. In other words, you use the muscles of your shoulder girdle. When you start learning to draw or to paint, it's better to do it standing, but not sitting. This does not mean that we are always doomed to draw standing behind the easel. Not, but it's very important for the true artist to start drawing from the shoulder, letting his brain read visual information in his peripheral zone. An artist should learn to view both of the zones simultaneously. I mean, when an artist is drawing a tiny detail, he must view what's going on in the space around. Only in this case will his drawing look whole and its composition be correctly constructed. Focused attention is good at some point, but you should master your skill of switching your vision from focused sight to defocused sight to your peripheral vision. There is another rule, which is also important in drawing. Let's wipe off this image. When we are drawing something, the pencil projection to the sheet of paper should always remain perpendicular to the line we are drawing. I'll explain to you what it is about. Well, if I have drawn a line, let's say at this definite angle, then the projection of my pencil, I'm talking about the pencil I am drawing with now, shall have a slope of 90 degrees. And you should clearly and distinctly see how we may form the angle of 90 degrees between the line and the pencil. When we use the second method of holding a pencil, when we grip it inside our palm, we need to rotate our elbow so we can turn our pencil towards the line and draw the line perpendicular to the pencil position. This is how the line should be drawn. If we need to draw a line stretching to a different direction, we should rotate our pencil again and draw the line stretching to the other direction. When we hold a pencil like a pen, the process remains the same. We just need to do the same thing. We need to rotate the pencil or our elbow, or we may even rotate our palm. But anyway, we should make sure that the angle here remains 90 degrees. This method of drawing allows us to manage the process of drawing lines, and as a result it gives credibility and persuasiveness to the objects which we want to depict. Now, we're going to attach a sheet of paper to the drawing tablet, and we'll try to draw a few lines with a pencil. There it goes. So the whole process is very simple. My arm is moving freely. Hey, there is another thing to mention here. When you draw standing on feet, the distance between you and just your easel should be equal to the length of your arm. So I start drawing a line here from this position. The line should be drawn in two directions. That's it. Now I want to draw a line at a different angle. And I rotate my pencil. But look here, my pencil still remains perpendicular. The angle here remains to be 90 degrees. Now I've changed the way of holding my pencil. Now I use the first method. My middle finger is supporting the pencil from below, and my thumb is pressing down on it. And I have one more hold point here. I can lift my index finger and keep on drawing straight lines. The projection of my pencil consistently remains perpendicular to the line in drawing. Let me write it down here again that it's a 90 degrees angle. These subtleties help us to draw confidently. I mean that it's obvious. You can easily understand if a drawing is made confidently by a steady, skilled hand or it isn't. Of course, you have the right to ignore these methods, but humanity has been working out some techniques during a century. I am talking about the method of holding various tools for drawing, and today these methods allow us to create the illusion of space quickly and persuasively. Master your skills and you'll succeed. I am Igor Volodkin, wishing you a great day.